Hey, it's Brendan here from WP Speedfix. I'm making this really short video to explain how our audit and consult service works because it can be a little confusing. There's a lot of stuff on the website, technical stuff. There's a lot of stuff you read online. So just trying to keep this 2-minute video really short and really to the point. So with the service, we are focused on optimizing for Google's Core Web Vitals metrics. So those are the metrics that Google uses in its algorithm, and that is the speed pulled from, or speed data pulled from real visitors on your website. So the Core Web Vitals metrics actually are a trailing metric, so the data can only be collated after the fact, after visitors have been to the website. So usually we start with this report here. It's called a Crux Dashboard Report, Chrome User Experience Report. That's what Crux means. And it has the site-wide speed data for your website for the previous month. So this report you can generate at our website here. I'll just switch over the tab here. So if you go to our website, wpspeedfix.com, under free stuff or more free stuff, free Core Web Vitals report, you'll get this here. There's a little explainer video to explain how to read it. Enter your web address. It needs to be the exact web address of the site. So with the www or without it, depending on how the site loads up. Click Generate Report. There's no opt-in or anything required. It'll take 60 seconds, 90 seconds to generate something like this. You need to have a minimum amount of traffic to generate this report, 100 to 200 visits a day, typically. So this is the report for our website. Actually, it's for January. I've got the wrong month up, but regardless, here it is. And so we've got the three Core Web Vitals, LCP, FID, and CLS. The big one, LCP, this is the speed metric. So this really needs to be 75% green or more to get a passing grade in Core Web Vitals. So this is kind of the broad strokes average of the entire site. So it's great for an overview. It's not super accurate, or super specific, sorry, and not super actionable. So we have some other tools to do that. But typically we'll start with this to look at what metrics need to be improved, as well as these three. We'll look at time to first byte here. This is not a Core Web Vitals metric. It's just a Web Vitals metric. But it does impact the site speed greatly because it's how quickly the server starts sending data once it's requested. You can see in October and November, we actually had an issue with our site here. There was some technical problems wrong with it. And we also look at first contentful paint. Again, it's just a Web Vitals metric, not one of the three core metrics. And this is how quickly the first piece of content shows on the page. So this needs to be under 1.8 seconds on average. 60 here, we're doing great. So that's that. So we start with that, and that's kind of how we look at site speed broadly across the site. With the audit service, so what we'll do, we'll take the website, we'll run it through a detailed audit, and then we create an action plan from that audit. So we create a series of steps that working through them should have the site passing the Core Web Vitals metric. So this is a site that's nearly completed. So typically, I'll just uncheck some of these. Typically, we have the priority issues at the top here, top section. We have what the issue is, what the impact is, what the fix is, the benefit, and then we have a whole bunch of stuff here. And this is some of this is kind of broad. It's not supposed to be a detailed step-by-step process to fix it, but this is our working doc and action plan as we have a few different levels of service here. So we can do the implementation. So if our team are doing the implementation, we'll work through this with you and check things off as we go. As I said, this one's nearly finished. We check them off as we go, or if your team's working through it, they can go through step by step or put it in your own project management system or whatever. But this is the output of the audit. So this is the action plan of all the things that need to be done. So this was quite an unusual one. So there's some optimizations here that we have that wouldn't be for all websites, but there's some issues with the menu system, issues with some of the server configuration. So there's a lot of stuff here about server configuration in the high and very high kind of category in terms of impact. So we have a whole bunch of stuff here, and some of it is small, some of it is not priority, and it's just basic stuff. But as we go through, those are checked off. We also do a site-wide test. I'll just scroll this up here. We also do a site-wide test here, where we look at all pages on the site. What we're really looking for here is the page sizes. Ideally, we want those under 3 megabytes. And then this first tab here is just kind of our raw data and notes. But where everything happens, obviously all the action happens on the action plan tab. So this is kind of the output. So once we do the audit, if we're doing the implementation, our next step after creating the action plan is to schedule a call and talk it through with you, talk through what the process is, Some of the changes probably will have some risk involved. You see there's a risk column here, so we'll talk through those. Some, you might need to migrate your hosting. We might recommend, we use Cloudflare for content delivery networks, so we might recommend getting that in place. But yeah, so before making any changes, we'll typically go through and talk them through, and then we schedule the changes. So that's the action plan. And then, as I talked about over here in this report, this is kind of like very high-level data, and it's great for a good overview. It's a good management-level report. Not so great for actionable items, like really detailed insights. And it also takes 6 weeks to update. So you see here it updates on the second Tuesday of each month. So it takes 6 weeks to see a change in this report. So not super useful when we want to get the site loading as quickly as possible. So we use this tool here. So we've built this tool that will track the Core Vitals data on a page-by-page level basis. It pushes the data into Google Analytics so we can pull it back out again. So here is a different client site, and we get this data here. So we can see what pages are passing and failing. And so this is pretty standard what we see. The site will generally pass across the board, and then there might be pages with particular issues due to the content on those pages, things like photo galleries, YouTube videos, embedded content, third-party forms. If you're using something like HubSpot or some forms coming through from another service, they can often be slow. So this tool allows us to see that data in a very granular way, and you'll see here, we can also choose the time period. So we can do last 7 days, we can do yesterday. We have total control here. This is our data set as opposed to this other report, and looking at Google Search Console is data from Google, and they control it. They don't give us really specific data. So using this data, we can then, after we've run through the action plan, we can see what's remaining, what still isn't passing. This also allows us to monitor things on an ongoing basis. So you see here, we have country by country breakdown as well. You can actually use custom segments in analytics to see what's going on. But this is an Australian website focusing on Australian visitors, so we don't really care about the US traffic. But it will drag down the Core Vitals data, so it is important in a sense. So that's it pretty much. So using this data, then we can go back and see if there's any specific action items that need to be added on at the end. Something to do with a page. With this particular site, some of this layout shift in particular is caused by photo galleries. So that's one issue that is actually still pending and needs to be resolved. So I think that all makes sense, pretty straightforward. If you are interested in the consult service, just submit your site on the homepage, on the WP Speedfix homepage. We'll take a look at it. We'll do a free audit there, and we can tell you what's possible, what's doable in terms of your site and where it sits now. We can generate one of those reports, or if you want to generate one yourself, you can do it right here on our website. And if there's anything else you need, just hit the contact form on our website and let us know.